One thing you didn't know about the CEO of Jobberman is he started out as a business intelligence analyst, rose through the ranks, and now the CEO of the biggest job board in Nigeria. Hi, I'm Damian Labati, Head of Marketing at Jobberman Nigeria. Here with me is the CEO of Jobberman, Oreoluwa Boboye. Hello, Ore.
Hi, Dami. Happy to be here, and very interesting introduction there.
Wow, thank you very much. How are you doing? How's work? How's everything?
Well, so as of today, right, work is good. Very interesting energy from the team today. So we had a town hall meeting today, and it was quite engaging. How is life? Quite relative, but I think in general, not bad. It's we can only be optimistic. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So actually, being the CEO of Jobberman, we do understand the kind of responsibility that actually comes with. But we're looking at it from a kind of perspective that we want to have an idea of a kind of background of who you are before you join Jobberman. So can you just share kind of little into your background, who you are, what you do before you actually join Jobberman?
Interesting. I think first I'll say that in another world, I'll most likely be a tech bro.
Wow, that's fine.
But yeah, I'm here. So I started out, out of school as an engineering graduate.
Wow.
So I studied electronics and electrical engineering.
Wow, that's nice.
From Obafemi Awolowo University. Quite proud of that, actually.
Wow, great effect.
Great. So maybe let me paint a picture pre-university. Maybe that would then help help you understand how I got here. So I was one of those fortunate kids that grew up with a computer in their house.
Wow.
So my dad would always say that when his mates were buying new vehicles, Volkswagen and all that, he decided to buy a computer.
Wow.
So I grew up with computer in the house. I went through the whole phase of MS-DOS to WordPerfect to Microsoft Word, Microsoft 95, 98, Microsoft XP. Went through that whole evolution. But I had this thing for mathematics and physics. So I got into OAU and decided to study electronics and electrical engineering. Why? Because I loved control systems.
Wow.
And I also grew up with a lot of gadgets in the house. My dad is an academic. He's focused. His discipline is engineering physics.
Wow.
Electronics physics in particular.
So an engineer, you have to be
that kind of a thing. Which interestingly, that's apparently not the case. My siblings can speak to that. So I grew up with that interest. In being. I was quite interested in computers, software design. I remember I built my first web page before I got into secondary school.
Wow. That was the C#?
So it was HTML was so it was the early days of HTML. I remember using this function then. This functionality called macros. Don't know for people that are very familiar with that, where that made text scroll across a web page. So early days, right? So I got into university. I thought I was going to be an electronics engineer because I loved control systems. But as fate will have it, my dad then bought me a laptop in my second year, and that got me into software development. So, and so I started learning, self-learning, how to write better computer programs. Got into Java and C#. Way back, and so by the time I got to my final year. It was very clear. I had a very clear pathway, into being a full stack software developer. So my first job out of uni was actually a full stack software developer.
Oh, so that means it was those days where we don't have things like UI UX.
No.
Is that a designer
or you're a developer? So it was. It was good to a large extent. I remember my first commercial type project was I mean, we had a designer, but I was lead on the project in terms of software development. So I had a team that I worked with and all. So yeah, tech bro. Um, that's my background.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's fine.
pretty much.
So, you moving from like a tech bro, transiting from tech bro to like the business world. What are the various challenges you actually face moving like normal? Because there's this perception that basically tech guys nowadays, at the end of the day, maybe the chief technology officer of an organization, but you from a tech bro now to a business leader. What are the challenges you face there?
I think the first is the personality. Um, so as a tech person, you're typically a back office guy who does not like want to be out there
I mean,
really.
guy that does a lot
You
of
just
stuff.
yeah, so you just want to be I mean, you're technical. You have deep knowledge of how things work. You're building solutions. You're throwing out products. You're churning out products and whatnot. And then allow the other guys do the business things. So that was something I had to deliberately work on. I'm still working on it because I'm by default reserved and by myself.
Wow.
Uh, so, but my journey also, helped shape what needed to be shaped. I'm still on that journey, by the way. So I'm not at the perfect state yet, but tying it into my journey. So I was a software developer, and then I realized that for me to be effective as a software developer, I also needed to understand the client or the users.
Yeah.
So that took me into a world of product management. So so I did a bit of product management for about a year and a half after being a software developer, full stack software developer. So yes, I was a product manager. I was paid as a product manager for a while, and that opened me up, into the world of users and understanding user journey, building amazing products, and also building with the user in mind, right? So I did that, and then that got me interested in data because I realized that at the core of decision making as a product manager, you then need to interact with data, understand insight, and I guess my engineering background then helped with that because I was not scared of numbers. It was easy for me to interact with numbers and get insights and all that. And so where I saw a need to then change my personality or improve on my personality was when it wasn't. I mean, I needed to then translate my insight to senior management or stakeholders. So it was important for me to then um, be a lot more outspoken, to be able to push my understanding of things. And I'm still on that journey to be able to, effectively push out everything I have in my head. So in a typical conversation, right? You don't want to know what is going on in my head. Like it's lots of cylinders firing and just, integrating things and then when I say something and probably in few words, but it's a lot that has gone into those few words. Yeah. So that part of that challenge is ability to then unlock the I'll say the audible part of me to be able to then translate whatever is happening in my head, to the outside world, because that is when it is beneficial. No one would, you don't know what is in anybody's mind, so it becomes beneficial when it is effectively communicated and translated. So part of the challenge for me was transitioning into that, being able to be a lot more audible and to also be able to speak in terms that is well understood. And I think I was able to, I saw the biggest jump in that change for me when I became a product manager, again because I needed to talk to clients more. Your primary role as a product manager is to understand, the brief in the mind of the product owner, or the product sponsor, and then translate that um, to the talent and the people that will build it for you.
Yeah.
And it's it's a massive world of difference, in terms of how they understand each other, and the language being spoken, and how they understand that language. So the ability to then translate that and be the mediator between those two, really forced me to then get to break that barrier, as a communicator. Yeah.
So I get that. So you working as a product manager was more of like a technical product manager, not
Oh
a
yes.
general.
Oh yes, I was. Yes, so I was a technical product manager. I remember back in the day, I had a couple software developers, most of them in Asia, actually. So they had Nigerian clients. So my job then was to translate uh, the 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 product need into schedules, and then roll it out as sprints, right? For the software developers. So pretty much breaking down what we need to do into, like, actions and items, and also listening to the software developers to understand the challenges, to understand the limitations, to understand the fact that I think one thing that's stuck with me, and I still use now, is as much as you would want to fast track things, there are just some things that cannot be fast tracked. You cannot fast track the time it takes to conceive a child and give birth. You cannot say, oh, because it takes 9 months, you want to then shrink it to 1 month because you got 9 women. It doesn't work that way. So sometimes, multiplication of resources does not necessarily mean speed, and that's something that I learned there. Um, However, it's also important to then be able to talk to and speak to the product owner, so that they also understand that, yes, some things will not fly, but some things can. Yeah. So yeah.
Wow, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. But actually, at Jobberman, you started out as a business intelligence analyst.
A data analyst, actually.
Okay,
that was
data
the
analyst.
that was the yeah. So my first role in Jobberman was I was a data analyst,
Okay.
and uh, it was quite interesting because we had, at that time, Jobberman had lots of things going on, employer engagement, candidate engagement, internal operations, and all that, just data points flying around, and there was a need to then have someone sit down and look at what is the data saying, what insights can we get out of it. So I started out as a data analyst, and then
Wow.
became
Wow. So what was the journey like? You starting out as a data analyst and actually moving through the ranks and now as a CEO. What's the journey like?
So it's consistent learning and unlearning and relearning,
Wow.
um, and also constantly asking the question why.
Wow.
Why are we doing what we're doing? What is the relationship between what is available versus the goal? And just constantly questioning the norm, right? And not just being comfortable with a certain result. It's just, okay, so we've achieved this, so what next? And what next? So that was what got me into. So from being a data analyst, I then became a business analyst. In that way, it was more analyzing internal operation and internal processes, because from data analysis, I realized that, oh, we can actually take advantage of some things internally if we optimized. So I became a business analyst. From there, I became business intelligence analyst and business intelligence lead, looking at the relationship between our internal operations and the market. Are we taking advantage of what is in the market? And then from there, of course, I became chief operating officer, because there was a need for us to then translate and transition and move very fast, based off what insight is telling us, and also there was a need for us to then move very quickly, because at that time that was when we started the Young Africa Works project, or the Young Nigeria Works project rather. So there was a need for us to then move. We scaled up very fast, very quickly, as a team, and there was a need to have like that visibility and that drive, from an operations point of view. And yeah, and here I am.
So that means been in Jobberman for a while. I know at least moving from data analyst to business intelligence lead to the CEO and now the CEO. There are some certain milestones that you actually cherish. What are those milestones that you can actually remember and you cherish?
Interesting. So let me start with from so when I became a business analyst, I had to document at that point all our internal operations. And I still see those documents till today, and it's part of what. So when I see them, I laugh. I'm like, oh my goodness, I wrote these things, just documenting, internal operations, because my understanding then, and it's still valid till now, is that when there's no visibility, you cannot improve. You can't improve what you cannot visualize. So at first it was important for me to document all and it was a lot of work. It was then I realized that we're doing so many things. We're doing a lot of things. So documenting that and then churning out SOP documents, right, for our operations and processes, was something that I'm always proud of, as a business analyst. As a business intelligence analyst and lead, I think for me is key highlight for me out of that was how we got into using Zoho in the first place, tracking our sales operations using the CRM. I remember then that that was a project. I had no idea how Zoho worked and all that, and there was a drive and a move then to set it up because we wanted to fully understand our business operations. And again, back to if it's not visible, you cannot improve it. So I got launched into the world of Zoho, tried to understand how it worked, the technicalities behind it. Of course, my technical background also kicked in, just really understanding how to set it up for the business and all that. And we did for Jobberman Nigeria, and it became a thing. And then there was a need to then set it up for all the other businesses within the group back then, and led that for the jobs business, and that for me was quite interesting for me. And of course, big shout out to also the team, our team lead there. And if I have a life chapter, I think I'll dedicate one to him. His name is Glenn, amazing guy.
Wow.
Yeah. So when I became chief operating officer, I think for me it was just setting up our organization to scale at that period in time, because we almost doubled in size. When I became chief operating officer, because of the project we got on, So just transitioning from a company of 25 to 30 people to 70 was huge. And just so for me, just ability to then help manage that and then run the day-to-day using insights and all those things also was huge and big and significant for me. Just scaling up our organization, right, and also being at the center of that is something that I hold on to very, very, very dearly. Yeah.
Wow, that's nice. So that means from your explanation, I can see that being the CEO of Jobberman then comes with a whole lot of responsibilities, and you're able to have enough team within you that you're able to actually implement most of your initiatives. But looking at Jobberman as a brand, and looking at Jobberman from the CEO perspective, how does the organization actually fosters an environment for growth and development for its employees?
That's a good one. So I think the fact that we, as an organization, we understand that we are not perfect yet. And so what that means for us is that there is always an opportunity to improve. And we run a system that then allows people to in their elements question the current reality and the status of things, with the mindset of improving it, right? And when you are able to show up and and show forth and like you believe that this thing needs to change and you can show evidence to how it can change, then you're given the opportunity to run with it. You're given the opportunity to then deliver it. So it is for most people within the organization, it's a personal journey. Like my journey is a bit different compared to other people, but you can see a trend, and the trend is that when you find unique solutions to things within the organization, which you will always do, right? You will then be given the opportunity to deliver it and showcase it, and that automatically then expands your potential within the business, and you will be recognized for it. And that was what I enjoyed, from being a data analyst intern to being a CEO. It's just continuously finding those gaps, and then showing up and providing solutions and delivering on those solutions with evidence and like, okay, this can be done. This has now been done. This is what we did objectively, right? And then the opportunity will always then show up, because again, I don't think there's any perfect organization in the world, so you will always find those gaps. So ability to then show forth and show up and show up with evidence, it's that's and Jobberman recognizes that and rewards that and showcases that.
Wow, that's fine. So, what advice would you give to individuals out there that are trying to join Jobberman to grow their career? So, what's that single line of advice that you give to such individuals?
So I'll come from the fact that, from a point of fact that we are solving a real problem in Nigeria, and that is something that anybody that wants to join Jobberman should have at the back of their mind. Like, you're coming into an organization that is solving a real problem, which is bridging the gap between employers and talent, right? Bridging the talent gap in Nigeria. It's a real problem, and it's as simple as that problem is the way to solving it and to fixing it is a lot. So meaning that there is no way you come into Jobberman as an organization that you will not have things to do. There's always work to be done, and that is part of what is even driving everyone within the team, that understanding that we are solving a real problem in our society, and that in the process of doing that, and you are going to be recognized for what you're doing, especially when you're showing forth and you're delivering those results. So it is identifying within this big focus, or within this umbrella focus, right? What specifically do I want to contribute, right? And objectively and clearly set for yourself targets that you would love to meet, and then also plan, what resources do I need, what support will I need, and trust me, we will always provide the support, so fight is clear. And then you have the opportunity to express yourself and to grow, as we grow as an organization.
That's fine. So in reference to the answer, actually, the real problem aspect of the Jobberman in terms of a business organization really motivates me, because I believe it's a societal problem that we are actually solving, and it's a very big one, and there's a need for us to solve that problem, because that's the only way that the economy can grow, and that's the only way we can actually regain our strength back as the giant of Africa. But off from that, as the CEO of Jobberman, what can you share more light into some of the initiatives that the company is currently working on now?
Oh yes, I think first of all, when in the world of technology for recruitment, we are at the forefront in Nigeria, and that's certain and amazing. So deploying AI into our applicant tracking system to just further help recruiters identify talents within the organization. I mean, for their organization is a big deal for us. So leveraging technology and leveraging our platform and continuously optimizing our platform to ensure that we deliver value to the employers. While we are doing that, we're also delivering value to the talent as they engage our platforms. The second side of it also is now on the impact side, where we are really, really driven to actually still further crack this employability gap that we have within in the country. And it's good and amazing that we have like great partners that we're working with, and also with immense support, from our group, from the group business, the African Talent Company, and also Ringia, just to ensure that we are pushing and pulling through, right, to get to also leave a significant mark, while solving this problem. So there is a significant focus that we have right now, especially for the female gender. So we launched the She's More campaign early this year, and this is to really showcase the importance of engaging women, right, in the workplace, and taking advantage of the female demography, right, within the either corporate world or even the world of work, or even in the economy, as a country. One thing also that I think we should love, people that follow us should look forward to is our informal sector report that is cooking, and that I'm also very excited about. Just really touchlighting and highlighting the potential within that sector, and what Nigeria as an economy can take advantage of, and even intervention points, right, through through government, through different players, to really take full advantage of that. And then on top of, another part, something that I'm also quite excited about for the future, is the fact that we have the ears of our clients, right? We are constantly evolving, and what is informing that evolution for us is consistent feedback, from the market, from our clients, from our stakeholders, the job seeker side, the employer side. So, as much as possible, we try to engage all these different stakeholders to ensure that we're getting the right insight from them to optimize our service delivery, to optimize our processes. One thing I'm going to encourage, so I try not to call them job seekers. They're candidates and talents on our platform. One of the things that I would encourage you to do, if you're listening to this and you have a profile on Jobberman, just take some time to update your profile, right? What that will do for you is it will put you forward, and allow our artificial intelligence machine to rank you better, for roles that are relevant to you. On top of that is, also sign up for the alert system. We have the job alert system that we have now revamped to share with you and send to you relevant jobs, right? Which of course will take information from your profile. So if you've not updated your profile on Jobberman in a while, I think this is a good time to do it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a good time to do it.
Wow, that's fine. Thanks, Ore. We can all hear from what Ore actually explained. So it's need for candidates and talents out there. There's need for you to actually complete your profile on jobberman.com. Currently, we have over 90,000 employers on our platform, and that job that you so much desire is just at the tip of your finger. And that reminds me, with our new alert campaign, you can get personalized job alerts at the back of your feet. There's no need for you to actually stress out over yourself. So inside your inbox, you get your personalized email job alerts. So thanks, Ore. Apart from all these, data world, business world, strategy, framework, business model, we all know leaders are readers, and we know you read a lot. Apart from you reading, what other things do you do just to have fun? Like, just move away from the serious world and have fun.
Okay. So so it's not recent anymore. It's been 2 years. I've been a dad for 2 years.
Wow. Wow.
So I realized that I actually do like spending time with my daughter. Wow. It's quite therapeutic for me. Yeah. Just decompressing and immersing myself into our world.
Yeah.
And trying to understand our perception of the world in our own way.
Wow.
For me, in recent time, I found it quite therapeutic. So yeah, so that's what I do But maybe on another level, I watch Netflix.
Wow.
Yeah, but I've not done that in a while now.
So are you a serious person or an action or drama or?
So I'm a serious person, and I'm a serious person to a fault, in the sense that so when I commit to a series, I finish it,
Wow.
even if it's terrible in the like. So it's possible you start something and you're like, oh my goodness, this is really terrible.
Yeah, I get it.
So yes, so and because of that, I don't start. So I'm not necessarily excited by a new series.
Wow.
I wait.
Okay.
I wait and I check out the comments and the commentary on it, and feedback and all that, and then I'm like, okay, this is a good series to to engage, and then I engage. Yeah, so I'm a serious person. I love the Marvel universe.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm a Marvel person.
What's your favorite character?
It has changed over time, but I think at the moment it's Iron Man.
Wow.
Yeah, I think just looking at the role he played in the end game, lots of respect there.
Wow. That's fine. What about football? You do football?
No, I don't.
Wow.
I am not that I hate football, by the way. I just can't sit down to watch 90 minutes of football. But also what I do most of the time is I check out the highlights, I check out the Premiership table and the Champions League table. I don't necessarily do the banter because I'm not committed to any club.
Oh, you're not
I'm not.
fine,
Yes.
fine.
So I can't. I don't have the capacity for that, unfortunately. Yeah.
That's fine. Thanks, alright. It's actually a wonderful session, and it's a very engaging and educative one as well. So, and what's that last word you're going to have for employers and job seekers that are currently using the Jobberman platform? That last word, please, before we wrap up today.
So to employers, I'll say that we got you. From posting the job on our platform for free, to using our AI-powered, artificial intelligence-powered applicant tracking system, to engaging our pro recruit through our recruiters, to engaging our executive recruitment product. You can see that we can actually do cater, end to end for recruitment. There is also a part of our business where we engage leads attraction, which we call banner ads and all that. So we got you. So please take time as an employer, if you have not, to actually go to our employer page. We have a dedicated employer page that then showcases all of these different functionalities that you can take advantage of on our platform. To the candidate, I'd say that one application and one no is not the end of the world. You need to continuously find intervention points and points of improvement for yourself. Take advantage of the different tools we have on the platform for you. Take advantage of the alert system. We have something cooking for trainings, for instance. We've launched a couple training courses and modules, from the soft skills training to the finance literacy training to the entrepreneurship training. Take advantage of these things, develop yourself, and also ensure that your profile is up to date on our platform, and apply and engage. Yeah.
Wow. Thanks, Ore. So wonderful employers out there. You heard it all. We have over 3 million talents in the Jobberman.com on the Jobberman platform. And so our talents out there, to our job seekers as well, we have over 90,000 employers. Just subscribe to our personalized mailing system and get your personalized job alerts straight to your inbox. It's a wonderful session, Ore, and we can't wait to have you some other time. Thank you very much, Ore.
A pleasure.
Okay,
A pleasure.
so that means we can't wait to have you soon then.
Yes, happy to do this anytime.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.